Good morning to all the participants. It's a wonderful session. Actually, this is a company meetings and resolutions drafting. It is a very, very important topic chosen for the day. The speaker is a well experienced and senior most professional company secretary. So now I have a pleasure in introducing him. Pavan Kumar Bhattiprolu is a qualified company secretary, insolvency professional, qualified independent director, registered trademark agent, and a trained mediator. He is an academician by passion and a consultant by profession. He uh, he began his professional practice in June 2002. For past 21 years of professional journey, he has been advising small, medium, and large scale enterprises on various aspects, especially setting up entities, structuring businesses in India and abroad. His core areas of expertise include IPOs, M&As, that is, okay, and collaborations, corporate governance, compliance management, and IPRs. He had associated with companies such as ISB, NCC, Taj GVK Hotels, Novopan, uh, Progressive Industries, KSK Group, Goldstone Group, Rasi, SKS Microfinance, and Kelios Mass Rapid Transport. He had helped many startups in setting up, structuring their businesses. The current list is topped by an attractive startup that makes satellites. It's a great achievement. As an academician, he mentored over 300 plus company secretary and 100 plus CA students to become successful professionals both in practice and industry. He was awarded 5 times by IIPM for his outstanding contribution towards academics. So now, sir, the floor is open to you. You can start the meeting, sir. Thank you.
So, very good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I hope audio is clear to all of you and the video. Just give me a thumbs up on the screen if it is clear to all of you.
You mentioned on chat box, please, allow.
Those who are on the camera, just give me a thumbs up if it's clear, or
Yes,
put a chat.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, as sir has introduced, I'm a practicing company secretary. Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful introduction. It's been very elaborate. You told everything about me. So the session today is all about meetings in a company and drafting. Drafting is a separate part, but let's first talk about meetings. I'll take you through the whole discussion. So in this session, we are trying to understand in a company, what kind of meetings will we have? Why are those meetings required? And what do people do in those meetings? How those are conducted? After conducting the meetings, the decisions taken thereat shall be recorded, which is called as minutes. So we are trying to understand the holistic perspective of all these aspects of a corporate. And after that, maybe if time allows, we will definitely try to understand what is drafting, what are the skill sets required for drafting, and maybe I'll show you some samples of how to draft notices of a meeting and then minutes of a meeting. This is how we are going to take this session. As sir has said, let's all keep the mics mute for a while. And in case you have any question, you can always post it on the chat box. I can check and maybe reply to you. Sir, for now, I have an audio problem. I can't hear you for a while. So I'm trying to set that. Though my session will go on, I can speak and you can hear me. But your audio will not come to me for a while. So I'm trying to work on that. Anyway, let me take you forward with the session. What is that we are discussing? As I said, we are going to understand meetings. The agenda of our meeting is to understand the meetings, what type of meetings we do. Let's look at these 4 lines here, basically. They are explaining why when this is what I was trying to show you. Why, when, where, and how. If you understand these 4 questions, you know most about meetings, right? Then drafting is a separate part that we will take up eventually. So let me tell you why these meetings are important. These meetings are important because company is a distinct legal entity. A lot of the investors put their money within the company and they sit elsewhere. They don't know what is happening in the company. So if they have to understand what is happening in the company, on a periodical basis, the company shall have meetings, discuss with the shareholders, inform them what is happening, take their permissions for important decisions. That's part 1. Part 2, even for the directors to take certain critical decisions, they need to have meetings on time and discuss various aspects. That's what is called as why. Then when are these meetings? Typically, in case of a board meeting, it can happen at the convenience of the board. Whenever they want to have a meeting and discuss certain things, they can have a meeting. But Companies Act 2013 says every company shall have at least 4 board meetings in a year. So this is mandatory that the board of directors meet 4 times in a year, take some critical decisions which are important for business. That's when. How about shareholders? When should they meet? In case of a shareholders meeting, the company law mandates that they shall meet at least once in every year. Where do they meet? Usually, they meet at the office of the company, or if you take an example of Reliance Industries Limited, they have 1 lakh shareholders, or maybe right now they have 80 lakh shareholders. If all the shareholders come to a meeting, your office won't be enough space. So what we do is sometimes we conduct the meetings in large stadiums. Reliance holds its meeting in Wankhede Stadium with about 40,000 seating capacity. So that's how meetings are done. Where? Lastly, how? I will explain a lot about how during the course of this discussion. And after that, we will talk about drafting. If you have any issue here or question, you can always put it on chat box. I'll wait. Great. So before we go to the meetings and understand why these meetings are critical, I have to tell you one important aspect. Company is an artificial person. There is no mind, there are no eyes, it has nothing. So it has to act through individuals. That's why decision making in a company, like how to do business, what is my market plan, what is my vision, what is my mission, etc., are all decided by people, not by company, because company is nothing. So who are these people who take these decisions? We need to understand that. So firstly, I am talking to you about executives. If you see there, line 1 is all about executives. Who are these executives? If I am talking about a marketing plan is decided by a marketing manager or a director of marketing. So one man can take decision when it comes to his own department, his own function. So executives can take decisions. Then there are key managerial personnel like managing director or whole-time directors. These guys also can take certain decisions which are critical. Then there are committees of the board of directors. We would have heard about audit committee, we would have heard about remuneration committee, CSR committee, etc. This is part of the board, but a small group of people constituted by board, they take certain important decisions and place them for review of the board. So decision making is at different levels by different people for different reasons. So simplest decisions are taken by the executives. Slightly more complicated decisions are taken by key managerial personnel. Complex will be taken by committees. Then other important decisions like what is the vision of the company, what is the mission, what are our targets, what are our long-term goals, are all decided by the board of directors. Then there can be certain class of shareholders, like a preference shareholder or an equity shareholder. Certain decisions are taken by them. The last and the most important critical decisions are taken by shareholders. Are they taken voluntarily or are they taken mandatorily? So Companies Act, what it has done is, it has divided the powers to take decisions between the board of directors and the shareholders. So there are a lot of things which company cannot do without the permission of the shareholders. So therefore, it is very important for certain matters to consult the shareholders, take their approval, and then go forward. In certain decisions, again, it is important to go to the board of directors, take their consent, and then go forward. So if you have understood this background, now you will know it's very important to have meetings within a company. Without meetings, decision making gets stuck. We are hitting a crossroad. We don't have any way to go forward. So we need to have meetings. We need to discuss. We need decisions and go forward. So what is the role of the board? We see board of directors is different from shareholders, and also there are different functional managers. There are managing directors, etc. Collective body of the directors is called as board of directors. What do they do in a company? They simply give the vision to the company. Without the vision provided by the board, a company will not have any direction. Where to go, we don't know. Similarly, every company will have a mission. If you say, what is the mission of an Apollo hospital? Mission of Apollo hospital should be to develop best standards of healthcare and to eliminate diseases. That's the mission. So most of the companies will have this mission and they'll have a vision. This is all set by the board of directors. That's why board of directors is a very important body within the company. Then this board also decides goals, which can be short-term or which can be long-term. It also puts in systems in place and also sets up procedures. If you want to take an approval for a marketing plan, which has a 1 crore budget, how to take that approval and how to implement your plan, entire structure is defined by the board and the executives simply follow it. The board also gives guidance and directs the executives on how they should function. So this is a critical role of the board. I'm telling you this in a very layman's language without using too many technical terms, because as a company secretary, chartered accountant students, there can be a lot of things that people might be aware. But as a layman, for you to understand how the board functions, this is what I will tell you. These are the 4 things that the board will do. How are these powers derived by the board? Where do they get them from? It can be board or it can be shareholders or whatever. That's called source of power. Where is that source? Source are, according to me, 4 sources. One, there are a lot of sources written in Companies Act itself, powers. You should look at Companies Act, understand what are your powers. Otherwise, refer to Memorandum of Association. Those who do not understand what is a Memorandum of Association, you can always consult me later. I'll give you a lot of inputs. You can come on WhatsApp or call me. My email ID is there on the first slide and my phone number is there on the first slide. You can reach out to me. So memorandum and articles of association are the basic documents of the company that tell you why the company is, what it is aiming to do, and how will it do. This is more internal document, articles, and this is a document that deals with the outside scope of the company. So we say this is internal and this is more to do with the outside scope. After that, there are a lot of agreements between the shareholders. So these agreements, internal documents, external documents, and Companies Act collectively form the source of your power. So now you can take decisions basing on what is written where. I'll come to the most important area. Yes, I said meetings are important. So the first question is, how do you do the meetings within a company? As far as Companies Act is concerned, it gives you 3 ways of doing the meetings. Number one, you have a in-person meeting. What do I mean by in-person meeting? We are all meeting at one place simultaneously. That's called as an in-person meeting. We are calling it as offline meetings nowadays, face-to-face meetings. So sit there, discuss, like what you're seeing here is a face-to-face physical meeting. Then we have virtual meeting. What is a virtual meeting? Currently, we are actually having a virtual interaction on Zoom. This is called as a virtual meeting. So you can see here, the participants sitting here are actually interacting with some people sitting here. This can be termed as a virtual meeting, right? And Companies Act typically allows a virtual meeting. This is a good news. Then sometimes where there is not enough time to actually meet in person or meet virtually, then what we can do is we can circulate a content that what is the decision that we want to take. This content, once it is circulated, the directors can express their view, whether they are in favor of such content or not. Fine. So these are the 3 methods of meetings. Once we understand this, then we can go forward. I just will check with you at this stage for a while on what is the status, how are you following this meeting. Please give me a confirmation on how are you following on chat box, and then I'll take it forward.
Request the participants to mention in the chat box. Are you following it? How are you following? Please mention, all of you.
Okay, so great. Thank you so much, all of you, for confirming. So this is how we do the meetings. Now I'm coming to the very technical discussion. That's why I told you that it's very important for us to know where we are standing. What do I mean by technical discussion from now on is, I am going to tell you provisions of the Companies Act with reference to meetings. So is meeting mandatory or not mandatory, right? Question number 1. As you go through my presentation, you will get clarity. So in your mind, you should ask these questions, and also you should note down these questions if you have a pen and paper around. Question 1. Is it mandatory to have meetings? Right? 2. If it is mandatory, what type of meeting should I have? 3. If I want to have a meeting, what is the way in which I should have a meeting? Right? For that, I'm going to give you an introduction. Please look at this carefully. So what is a meeting? It is defined as gathering or assembly or getting together is a meeting. But we all meet for a lunch dinner. Can we call that as a meeting? No. There must be some transaction for which you're meeting, which has a lawful business. There is a discussion of gain, loss at a place. That's what we call as meeting when it comes to corporates. Just let me ask you a question. How many of you ever attended any corporate meeting? Please put your name if you've attended any meeting. How many of you attended corporate meetings? Some of you are seniors already. You must be working. Please put your name on the chat board. How many of you attended any meetings before? It can be your meeting with the boss. It can be meeting your colleagues. It can be trying to brief a team on something. Did you ever do that?
One Mr. Vaibhav Shah says, I
Okay.
have attended with CEO.
Somebody, Vaibhav Shah, has attended a meeting with the CEO and team members. Awesome. So Vaibhav, you know that when you attend a team meeting with the CEO is not talking about how tasty the tea was and what kind of snacks that you had for refreshment, right? We are talking serious business. What is that? We are talking about the goals that we have set for the organization. Are you meeting your goals on time? Are you falling short of your targets? How to meet the targets? What is the methodology that we're going to adopt? These are the things that are discussed in the meeting. That's how meeting should go on. Then the most important point is for a meeting to happen, there must be two persons, right? Then company being an artificial person, it can do nothing on its own. It always needs people behind it. Then whenever company takes a decision, this is important for all of you. You would have heard the word resolution for so many times in your life, right? Resolution. I even asked qualified professionals, what do you mean by resolution? They fail to explain what is a resolution. The word resolution is nothing but it's a decision recorded in writing. So somebody asked me, sir, if it's simply decision, why are we not using the word decision and why do we use complicated words? See, the law is all about being appropriate. It is not going to be short of appropriate, right? So decision is something that you're going to reverse. I'll tell you decisions what we do. On a new year, we take a decision from today I'm going to gym. I'm going to work out. This is a decision taken on 1st of January. On 10th of January, the guy is happily sleeping at home, doing nothing. You ask him, you are supposed to go to gym. He says, I took a decision, but I'm not doing it, right? But in a company, this kind of decisions are not possible. You need to have a concrete resolution written and you must follow it. That's why the word resolution is done. So decisions are taken always by way of a resolution within a company, and this is generally not alterable. That's the line that you must remember. And these resolutions are either passed by the board of directors or they are passed by the shareholders at a general meeting. Purpose of the meeting is to give reasonable and fair opportunity. What do you mean by that? Let's say Reliance Industries today suddenly decides that it doesn't want to do the business of petrochemicals anymore. It wants to shut down. As a shareholder, I will have a very critical view. I don't want you to do that. So I should be given an opportunity to come express my viewpoints. That is the whole purpose of the meeting, right? There are thousands of people. They have thousands of viewpoints. You must listen to them. Make them part of decision making. That's critical. This is a platform. The meeting is a platform to express the will of the management and the shareholders. Now look at the word. We are studying something for the first time. We are looking at compulsory. What is compulsory? One meeting of the shareholders is compulsory.
ఉన్నదాకేమో
So
ఫోన్
you
తో
must be putting a question in your mind.
మాట్లాడి పెట్టేసేది ఆ
Hello.
తాతకి నీకు
Meeting of a shareholders is called as what? Is it shareholders meeting? No. Generally, the meeting of shareholders is called as general meeting. In a company, whenever you hear general meeting, remember, it is a meeting of the shareholders. If it is a meeting of the board of directors, we call it as board meeting. Broadly, these are the two meetings that you and I should be concerned. So we said one meeting in a year is compulsory of the shareholders. If you want to hold more meetings than that, then it is left to your choice. There is no compulsion. Then I'm now coming to shareholders meeting, members meeting, general meeting. These are the words used. Company is required to hold meetings of the members. Why? To take approval for certain items of business, which we're going to discuss. The meetings are to be held for seeking approval for some specific discussions, decisions. Those are called as ordinary and special. Remember these two words. One is ordinary, other one is special. I'm going to explain these terms shortly. Meetings are called annual general meeting. What meetings are called annual general meeting? A meeting which is held once in a year with a predefined agenda is called as the annual general meeting. As you know, annual exams. What do you mean by annual exams? One exam conducted finally that year is called as the annual exam. So annual general meeting is a meeting of the shareholders conducted once in a year. Can I have more meetings? I said yes. If you conduct 3 meetings in 1 year, one of them only is an annual general meeting. The rest of them are called as extraordinary general meetings. Right? Company may, if it wants, it can have meeting for a class of shareholders. Like it can have a meeting for only preference shareholder. It can have a meeting only for equity shareholder. Those are called as class meetings. But when you club all of them, it becomes a general meeting. Right? Here below, I've given you classification. When it comes to members meetings, there is one which is called as annual general meeting. 2 is called as extraordinary general meeting. 3 are class meetings. Is it going fine? If you please keep giving clearance so that I can go forward. Yeah, Vaibhav Shah, you're right. AGM is done once in a year in September, but you have a choice. It can be held from May to September, any point of time. Those who are not clear, if you have any questions, you can write them. Otherwise, just put simple thumbs up so that I know you are getting my point. I know I'm asking for too much on a Sunday morning. Most of you, the women must be in kitchen trying to manage cooking plus the session. And the men must be actually chilling around and then trying to take the session. So please take that trouble. Okay. Okay, go forward. Wonderful. Thanks for that response. Right. Now I'm coming to annual general meeting. Right? Is it necessary to have an annual general meeting? Is it necessary for all companies? This is dealt in section 96 of the Companies Act. Right? One of the most important sections. Till now, I have not mentioned section. I'm mentioning the section for the first time. Those who are interested in knowing little law, you can note these sections. So in this section, it says every company that is incorporated under Companies Act 2013 must have one AGM every year. It also uses the word except OPC. Anybody heard what is an OPC? OPC is called as one-person company. Right? It's a very new introduction. Earlier, companies should have minimum 2 members, but now they are saying 1 member can make a company. Such company is called as one-person company. Because there is only one person, he need not meet anybody. Meeting is not mandatory. For all companies, meeting is mandatory. You must hold this in each calendar year. Know one thing. In Companies Act, when you are talking about year, we use two different words. One, we use financial year, which begins on 1st April, ends on 31st March. In some cases, we typically use calendar year. Calendar year, I'm sure all of you know, is starting from January and ends on December. So, can I have one AGM in September this year? And next year, I want to have AGM in April. Can I have? Yes, you can have. What we are telling you is the maximum gap between two AGMs shall not be more than 15 months. Right? So let's do this practically. I don't know how many of you are interested. You have a pen and paper, but I want you to do this. Like Vaibhav has written in his chat box that every September company has one AGM. Let's say 2022 September, I'm writing here so that we can understand. 2022 September, I had one meeting. I don't want to have any meeting in 2023. I want to have the next meeting in 2024. Is this possible? No, because what is said is the gap between two AGMs shall not exceed 15 months. So we calculate 15 months from here, and obviously 31st December 2023, you must have your meeting, not beyond that. This is the provision of the Companies Act. There's another provision. It says 6 months from the end of financial year. Look at the last point. 6 months from the end of the financial year, you must have your meeting. So answering what Vaibhav was asked, technically every company every year must have its AGM before the end of September. Even though it says gap shall not be more than 15 months, but the deadline is September 30th every year. This should be recorded in every finance, secretarial, legal person's head. Okay, if you're a technical guy, I don't know. If you're a CEO, if you're a COO, if you're a CTO, your abrogation is different. But if you're a financial guy, accounting guy, company secretary, if you're a lawman, you must know that the dead end for the AGM is September 30th every year. Therefore, your balance sheets, P&L accounts, paperwork should be done before that. Fine. However, in case of a first AGM, there's a slight exemption, or we call it as leeway given to you. What they're saying is, because it's a first AGM, you're just getting used to the corporate culture. We give you 9 months time from the closure of the financial year to do your first AGM, right? And next important point is, notice should indicate that this is an AGM, because otherwise there will be confusion. Why is the meeting? Is it extraordinary or is it annual? So that's why you're asked to indicate that it is a AGM. Whenever I'm talking about section 96 of the Companies Act, this should all be read with section 129 of the Companies Act. This is very technical. You don't need all that inputs. But as far as you guys are concerned, 31st March is the end of the financial year. Within 6 months, you should have your AGM. Then, in certain scenarios, let's say there's a huge fire accident within the factory premises of the company. Accounting records are destroyed. I'm not understanding how to make my financial statements. Then what the law says is, okay, in those critical cases, you go to ROC, he will give you 3 months additional time. Okay. But when it comes to first AGM, there is no such exemption. You can't get any additional time, you have to stick to the September 30th. I just wanted to explain you something here. See, I am somehow sticking to the very precise bulleted points without hitting around the bush, because I only have 1 hour's time in which I wanted to give you very critical inputs. I'm trying to give you bulleted points so this can be noted in your mind. I'm not going around in a very high level manner, right? So if you have anything with reference to depth, clarity, or you want to give me, you want me to give you more information, you can always ask me and come on my personal window later. So what is a time and place of holding an AGM? Very, very important question. A lot of people get confused here. They say, whenever you're going to conduct an AGM, you must give 21 days clear notice. What do you mean by 21 days clear notice is, you're sending a notice of the general meeting to all the shareholders. Let's say the meeting is on 30th September and 21 days before that, say about September 7th, I send the notice, whereas the meeting is actually on September 30th. This is what we call as a clear 21 days. Why clear 21 days? This to layman looks like a 13 days, right? Or 23 days. But in my view, it is called as 21 days clear notice. Why? So what we do is, we don't count 7th. We don't count 30th. So the days in between should be technically 21. As long as you do that, your job is done. So here I said it must be 21. Right? Next one is, it should be during business hours. Can I have a meeting in the midnight and ask my shareholders to come? No, I cannot. The meeting should be technically only during business hours, which is well defined as 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. What you must remember is, in case of maybe call centers, BPOs, IT companies, their business hours must be night. But that doesn't matter. As far as law is concerned, your business hours are 9 to 6 p.m. and shareholders meeting should only happen at that time. We cannot have a meeting on a national holiday. This is a very typical exception. Be very careful on this point. I want you to please list down national holidays. How many of you know which are the national holidays in the country? I'm waiting for your response. Please type out national holidays. How many national holidays do we have? 3. Awesome. That's coming from Anirudh. Okay. Which are those? Now that you know the number, it is 15th of August, which we call as Independence Day. January 26th, which we call as Republic Day. And lastly, we have October 2nd, which we call as Gandhi Jayanti. Awesome. So these are the only 3 national holidays, my friends. Let's not get confused. Diwali, Christmas, Ramzan, none of them are national holidays. They're all holidays, but not national holiday. So can I hold an AGM on Ramzan? Yes. Can I have an AGM on Diwali? Yes. On a Christmas day? Yes, you can have an AGM. There's no problem with that, but not on national holidays. Awesome. Yeah, you, Mr. Nukaraju, I think you have a question on this line, right? What is a CG? That is a central government. Okay, so you cannot have it on a national holiday, but the important line is, where do I hold the meeting? Let's say we have our own Hyderabad-based companies, a lot of them. For example, I'm talking about NCC, Nagarjuna Constructions Company, one of the very popular companies in Hyderabad. Maybe a lot of us are shareholders in that. Imagine Nagarjuna Constructions holds its shareholders meeting in Singapore. Are you going to attend this meeting? No. Therefore, the law says you have to conduct the meeting within the same city, town or village where the register office is situated, you cannot go out. And central government may give you certain privileges, exemptions if it wants. There are little more points behind that, which I'll share you. The PDF will come to you. You can always take a look at that later. I'll just go forward because I think we only have 20 minutes. So what is a business that we transact at every AGM? Very, very important. Please don't miss this. This in short is called as ADA. Okay. You would have heard this 100 times. A, D, D, A. What are these? So at an annual general meeting, we discuss about accounts. We discuss about dividend. We discuss about a director who's retiring and we have to replace him or we can reappoint him. So A, D, D, and again we talk about auditors. Therefore, in short, this is called as ADDA. These are the 4 discussions that will happen at an AGM. If these 4 matters are being discussed, such meeting inevitably is an AGM. Okay? And if these 4 matters are not discussed, such meeting is not AGM. Remember that. And when you discuss these 4 matters, we call this as ordinary business. At the same AGM, can I discuss something which is not these? Yes, you can discuss. That's called a special business. So every other business which is not 1, 2, 3, 4 year is a special business. There's one slide. If a company does not hold the AGM, what are the consequences? You can obviously go through little later. Now I'll tell you something about convening an AGM. When is an annual general meeting valid? So there are 3 words used in the law for it to be valid. Number 1, it should be properly convened. It should be properly constituted. It should be properly conducted. So in short, we can call it as 3C formula. What is 3C? Convened, constituted, conducted, right? What do you mean by convening? Convening is to call for the meeting. So you must give a proper notice, and notice should be called by proper authority, right? Should be properly constituted. What do you mean by that? Quorum must be present and it should be headed by the chairman. It should be properly conducted. What do you mean by that? Business must be validly transacted at a meeting. And you must have a proper minutes of the meeting recorded. If you follow these 6 bullet points, your meeting is absolutely valid. See, I can tell you 500 things about this, but unless and until you are actually a company secretary handling this, it is not important for you. As a person of the accounting finance knowledge, this is enough for you. In some cases where AGM is already done and you want to take important decisions, there can be extraordinary general meeting as written in the screen. So extraordinary general meeting can be either decided by the board themselves, or sometimes shareholders may request that. Sometimes it can be decided by the NCLT. All right. So this I am not doing it currently because this is very technical and you don't need it. You can go through if you're interested when I share the PPT with you, and you can always call me back for more questions. This is very critical. There are 2 types of resolutions within a company. One is called as ordinary resolution. What do you mean by ordinary resolution? Is where you need not get substantial majority to actually pass a decision. Let's say I'm talking about parliament. In a parliament, what are the decisions to be taken? Let's say I'm going to amend the constitution. Do you need special majority, lot of members approving it, or do you need a simple majority? What is a simple majority? If there are 20 people against and 21 people in favor, it's a simple majority. It's called ordinary resolution. In Parliament also, if they're going to amend the constitution, we need special majority. How much is that? 2/3 members should agree in Parliament. But when it comes to Companies Act, for a special resolution, the formula is simple. Let's look at number of votes against the resolution, number of votes in favor of the resolution, right? So if you are getting 10 votes against the resolution, you should get at least 30 votes in favor. Then it's called as a special resolution, right? Why like that? See, certain decisions cannot be taken unless a lot of people are approving. If you look at it, how we manage our homes, in your own life or in my life, let's say, if you have to change your entire line of career, right? You wanted to become an engineer until 10th class, intermediate, or after 10th, you suddenly decided, no, I don't want to be an engineer. I want to become a doctor. You would see the moment you tell this to your parents, there is a huge turmoil at home, a lot of discussion, a lot of anxiety. People are asking you 1,000 questions. Why? And everybody's debating. Everybody's asking somebody, Are Vedu, he doesn't want to do engineering. He suddenly changed his line to medicine. That kind of critical decisions need majority's consent. Your mother should agree, your father should agree, maybe your sibling should agree. Only then you can take such decisions in life. Rather, when it comes to simple decision, which hotel should we go for a dinner in the evening? All of us have different opinions, but finally father or mother will say, no, we are going to this place, and that's fine, right? So those are simple decisions which are falling under the head of ordinary resolutions, and special resolution requires special majority. There's one specific thing called as resolutions requiring special notice. This I will now rest it because that's not important as of now because there's no time. You can also note this slide, read through this. You can come back to me eventually if you have any question on that. Yeah, this is a simple list of examples where ordinary resolution can be passed or where special resolution can be passed. Please go through this. Yeah, now somebody in our own agenda for the meeting, the topic is meeting, drafting of notices and minutes. That's our discussion. So let's understand what do you mean by notice. Then we will know how to draft it. Notice is simple. If you ever received an invitation card for a wedding, the invitation card says, we solicit your gracious presence on the occasion of my daughter's wedding with so-and-so guy at so-and-so place on so-and-so date. Kindly come and bless the couple, right? This is an invitation. On the same line, a notice of meeting is sent to every shareholder. But here, we don't use the word. We solicit your august presence on the benign occasion of the annual general meeting. No, those are not the words. We are slightly going to be more technical. So what do? We are writing the date of the meeting, place of the meeting, the time of the meeting, very importantly, purpose of the meeting. Purpose of the meeting, as I already said, can be ordinary business or special business. We must write all of them in the notice and send this notice at least 21 days before the meeting to all the shareholders. This is a requirement of Section 101 of the Companies Act 2013. Sometimes I don't have time. I cannot send you 21 days before the meeting. Can I send it little later? That is 14 days, 15 days before the meeting, 5 days before the meeting. Can I do that? Yes. That's called shorter notice. And for that, you have certain terms and conditions. You fulfill them. you can always give a shorter notice, right? These are written on the screen. You can always go through eventually. Contents of the notice, as I said again, very important. We're going to write about the place of the meeting. We're going to write the day, that is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever that is. Time of the meeting and agenda. What business are we going to transact? Is it special business? If it is a special business, remember only one thing. You must give explanation to each item. Why is that item being discussed now? That's called explanatory statement. Then you have proxy. What do you mean by proxy? If I am not able to come to the meeting, I will send my representative. That right of the proxy should be written prominently in the notice. So these are the 5 things that every notice must contain. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Drafting notices and minutes. I think we will have about 10-15 minutes of time for this. Sir, just one on chat bags, your feedback. Is it going fine, or shall we hurry up, or can we go leisure?
You
Whatever
can,
it is, please put it
it's
on
fine.
chat
You
box.
can take, some more time also as per you. Okay, sir. We'll go.
Sir, I'm asking you,
Yeah.
can we continue the session same way, or you want me to
Same way,
improve the
same way,
speed? Or
same way is very perfectly is not a problem. Okay, sir. Not a problem.
okay, how many of you know what's drafting? I'm waiting for your replies quickly. Great. What is drafting?
Participants.
Yeah, I think a
fast,
lot of us
yeah.
will have a lot of words in mind, right?
Yeah.
I will quickly take you to an important slide. Yeah, somebody gave a reply. Drafting is, we should send notices. Okay, I'll come to that. You read this. One guy is giving an orange to the other guy. And he's saying this orange is yours from now. But if the guy is a lawyer, how is he going to tell this? Read the entire text here. It is amazing. It does not even come to your imagination that orange will have so many things. Look at it. He says, I hereby give and convey to you all and singular my estate interest rights claim title and advantages of and in said orange, together with all its rind, juice, pulp, seeds, and all rights, advantages, with full power to bite, cut, freeze, and otherwise eat the same, or give the same away, with and without the pulp, etc., to anybody at your own free will and wish. So, if you're seriously looking at it, how many of you are surprised that you can write something as elaborately? I want to see how many of you are surprised. While you simply give an orange to somebody, can you say so many lines? Can you actually think of so many lines? That is the art of drafting. Once you understand what am I doing, what is the law, what are the surrounding circumstances, what are the future disputes that may arise. If you understand this and write a paragraph, that's called as drafting. Drafting can be letter, drafting can be notice, drafting can be minutes, drafting can be any document, right? Drafting and conveyancing are 2 different words. In conveyancing, we always give title from one party to another party. But in drafting, we can write anything. That's why writing is drafting, but writing skillfully. To me, there are 3 important words which I'm going to write now on the screen. If you know them, that's drafting. Number 1, as far as a lawyer is concerned, or chartered accountant, financial accountant like you, me, you must first know law. You must then know facts. These two are the most essential ingredients of drafting. There's one more. I want you to name that. I'm waiting for all of you to respond. What is the third? I've given you substantially what it means. I want you to write the third one. Third one quickly. Anybody? I'll tell you what is the third one. Let's say today, sir is sitting on this, I can see him on the screen sitting quietly watching. Sir knows law. Sir has facts. He has tremendous knowledge, right? For you to believe that he has knowledge, he needs to really appear like somebody who has knowledge, right? So why is he wearing a jacket today or a blazer and sitting? Why is he not wearing a t-shirt on a Sunday morning? Or maybe why am I not wearing a t-shirt on a Sunday morning? Correct? Nobody will ask me or him. If I wear an orange t-shirt, sit in front of the screen and talk, you won't mind it. But you know, that's called presentation. If somebody has to consider you seriously, your appearance is very important. Similar way, for a paper, for it to really appear effective and powerful, the third and the most important feature that I'm going to write on the screen is language. That is why all of us insist so much on grammar right from your schooling to the college, then to the professional courses. Drafting and language cannot be set apart. If law and facts are the body, this language is called as a clothing. Without this clothing, no body will appear good, or it can never be presented properly. That's why, my friends, focus on these three things. Whenever you're drafting anything, first learn the law surrounding it, know the facts seriously, ask questions, get all the information, and put it in a language format. That's what becomes drafting, right? I'll go forward. In the next 5-10 minutes, I'll try to conclude this session. In our company sense, when I'm talking about drafting, there are three things that we draft. Number one is the minutes which happens after the meeting, resolutions at the meeting, and notices before the meeting. Remember, notice is before the meeting, resolutions is at the meeting, and minutes is after the meeting. Three important documents. Now, what is drafting? It's a synthesis of law, facts, and language. That's what I said. Drafting, in other words, is nothing but crystallization and expression in a definitive form. It cannot be vague of a legal right or a privilege, function, duty, status, whatever you're going to write in a piece of paper. If that has all these three things, then it must have law, facts, and language, all three. This is where maybe we will stop. This slide will help you understand how to do drafting. There are a lot of examples within the same presentation you can go through later. What makes a person a good draftsman? I'm calling them as prerequisites. Please do not attempt drafting without developing these skills. Number one, knowledge of the facts and law. Number two, you must have a serious thinking. About what? Serious thinking is about a future. When a sale deed is drafted, property is transferred from one person to another person, what kind of future litigations are going to arise from that contract, you should know today and answer all of them. This needs a serious thinking. That's when you become a good draftsman. Then there must be a prompt action. Whenever you get question, whenever your thought and there is a concern, you must take a prompt action to address that and put the relevant content in the draft. Then you must understand law. You must be able to judiciously interpret the law. This is a huge word which has wide connotations. We will take up some other time if sir gives us more sessions. But as of now, I think these prerequisites are what you need to have. I'm just going to tell you that what are the general principles, appropriate words, phrases. This is what my presentation has. You can obviously go through them. And I am there available on my number. Just send me a WhatsApp message. I'll answer all of those questions. Okay? Sir, dot 11.
Yeah.
I
Very
wanted
good,
to stop
very
here
Sir, shall we
and
have
end this
this
session. Just give me
continuation of
1
the-
minute, sir. I'm going to switch on my audio.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Yeah. And then what I'm trying to say, can we have a second session continuous after, according to you, over the convenient time or a day, we can have an extension of the session.
Sure, sir. Next Sunday, maybe same time we can try and do
Okay,
it.
okay, same time. Actually, Martis, you know, CS Martis Garu. So he conducted actually 3 sessions continuously on communication skills.
Okay.
So that's what I saw in the same way. Like this is actually some more points are there, like drafting, and then how the resolution is that. So that I think we need to have one more. The session will be good.
Absolutely.
So
We'll do
have
that.
it in the same district. We call it as a session 2. So shall
Okay.
we close it here the day? I mean,
Yeah, participants, it's up to you and the participants now because now
participants. So now, if you have any queries, just I mean, in 5 minutes time, you can just open up the mic, speak, and close it. If anyone wants to ask,
Sir, is BOD Bank of Department correct? And what is meant by BOD, sir?
board of directors, please.
Board of Directors. Okay.
Others,
perfect, Andy. Yes.
hello. You see, one thing is that all of you have to learn. Accountant is also a company secretary because he is working in private limited companies. He should know about these things, very, very important about the company law. And he has covered it. I'm surprised actually the way he made the presentation point by point. I know he has gone so depth and then made so much of clarity. It is a professional meeting. Sir, we are all thankful to you, and we have this meeting in the next week also, on next Sunday also. I request all the participants, open up the mics and please give him a big thanks. Please,
Thank you very much, sir.
thanks.
Thank
All
you,
of
sir.
you.
Thank you
All of
very
you.
much,
All
sir.
of you. All of you. Sir,
Thank you
please
very
give
much,
him a
sir.
big hand.
Thank you,
Please,
sir.
all of you. Please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All of you. Okay, sir. Nice of you. Okay, we'll take.
Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful Sunday.
Thank you, sir. Good day, sir. We close.